Welcome everyone to the Lower Gwinnett Township Board of Supervisors regular public meeting for Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. The Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session prior to tonight's meeting to discuss matters of potential litigation related to zoning, code enforcement, and emergency services, as well as real estate related to the Public Works facility and personnel related to the police department and meeting logistics. I want to first offer congratulations to Sergeant Jerry Hunt for graduating from the Northwestern School of Police Staff and Command Class 626. Northwestern is a competitive and intensive learning and management education program. On behalf of the board and the township, we want to offer our congratulations. We also want to congratulate Sergeant William Towney Henry for receiving the Optimist Club of Lower Monco's 2026 Respect for Law Award. It's given to those who render outstanding service in the area of law enforcement, and the award will be presented at the Optimist Club's May 11th meeting. The board and the township wants to offer our congratulations to Towney. Next up is building and zoning. We have included in our board packet the consideration for the Gwinnett Point conditional use application. I'm going to turn it over to our solicitor.
The board should have in its packet a draft conditional use decision, also with conditions attached. And if the board is so inclined, a motion could be made to approve the conditional use in accordance with the draft decision.
Any questions from the board? Any question from the public? Seeing none. Included in the packet is the memorandum, and it identifies that we did have a hearing on March 24th, 2026 to consider the application. No questions from the board, no questions from the public. I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. That closed the
That
record.
closes the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is a presentation on consideration for revisions for 1512 and 1524 Cedar Hill Road. Hi, you can just come forward and state your name.
Sure. Susan Rice with the STA Engineering.
Susan.
So you have a revised plan. We have a resolution for an approval tonight. The revised plan adjusts the comments in your engineer's review letter. One of the comments we discussed, I don't know if you want me to go into that, the open space. Yeah, so the prior discussion revolved around the open space. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You have to just pull the microphone out of the holder and hold it like close to your.
Okay. So there were 4 lots and we needed open space. We are in the A1 zoning district. And after that discussion we had, we looked a little bit more closely at the ordinances and realized that we could develop, our lots are large enough to develop in accordance with the A zoning district, which does not require open space. So that's why you see a plan now that does not have open space on it. The review from your township engineer, based on the resubmission of this plan without open space, is dated April 10th. And there are still a few minor plan cleanup items that we intend to comply with. And other than that, we're asking for the same 4 waivers that, 5 waivers that we discussed at last meeting as well.
Okay. Who wants to start? Are there any questions from the board?
I have a question. What's the applicant's position regarding the trail or sidewalk in the front?
There is a trail proposed in the front. It runs parallel to the road.
And what type of trail will
A
that be?
paved trail.
Paved
Paved.
asphalt?
Correct. Correct.
And then, I think I saw there's some issues with the trees.
There are no issues with trees.
Okay.
There was some confusion with the way the plan is presented. We intend to comply with your tree replacement ordinance. We're not asking for any waiver.
Okay, and you'll plant native
Correct,
species, okay.
correct.
So the 274 caliber inches of existing trees that are going to be removed are going to be replanted,
Replace, yes, correct.
replaced
Mhm, yes.
at that caliber inch? Just to confirm.
So yes, we're replacing the caliper inches that are required to be replaced.
Okay. And just to clarify, I'm just wondering, in our engineer's letter, it specifies evergreen trees as the tree replacement calculation. Are we calling that out because it's not a native tree?
I think that's an error, and that's where I said that my plan needs to be a little bit clearer. We're not proposing evergreens,
No.
flowering trees, yeah.
Okay, because it says lastly, the plan proposes to utilize some evergreen trees to satisfy the tree replacement calculation, so that's incorrect.
Correct.
Okay. So Jim, in your letter, were that clarification, is that sufficient?
It's sufficient. So an evergreen tree is obviously, it's a
Always green.
tree, it can be native. But when you talk about an evergreen tree, usually you're specking a height, not necessarily a caliper inch. So, it's just something that we wanted clarification on.
We're thinking about like those arborvitaes or big thuga, I don't know how you say them.
I mean, a evergreen tree that we would accept as a replacement would be it would be like a pine or something like that. We wouldn't be accepting evergreen trees as replacements in really any scenario.
Okay. So just to clarify, that's not what you, even though it inadvertently was in your plan, that is not what you're intending to replace.
Correct.
Okay.
I just
And-
have, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go, I was going to ask if there are any additional questions.
And just to clarify, also, like if they don't request a waiver from the tree replacement requirement, then they would be required to replant in accordance with the ordinance and our review of the plans.
I have a question, so keep the mic. The sidewalk and trails plan, does it matter at all whether it's a paved trail versus a sidewalk? It still act the same or similar?
Yeah, the
access?
sidewalk and trails plan was just to decide whether you wanted a pedestrian pathway
Okay.
through a property or along a property, whether it is a concrete sidewalk or an asphalt trail, it doesn't really matter.
And that it's not like it's connecting to existing sidewalk already.
No, if
Yeah.
anything, it would be eventually connecting to like a limestone
Yeah.
trail, which I think have discussed, not putting in the future because of the maintenance issues with them.
Okay.
So if, just to speak to your waiver request, and I think it's C, 1230.60B. So really the concrete sidewalk along the frontage is in lieu of the proposed paved trail, but if we're going forward with the paved trail, then we don't need to support the aprons being added to the plan.
Correct.
The apron is just the front piece.
Yeah, so the apron is only needed when there is a concrete sidewalk, and it is like integrating the sidewalk
With the
with the
driveway.
driveway. I guess the ordinance requires driveway aprons at all driveways, so if they are putting the trail in, they wouldn't need the apron from a constructability standpoint, but I think the waiver probably still stands.
What's the difference between a paved trail and a sidewalk? It's the material.
Yeah, essentially. The sidewalk would be concrete, 5 feet wide. This trail will be asphalt and 6 feet wide.
Thank you.
Yep.
As that relates to the stormwater management, the 1241 301 under D.
Where are we at? 1241, 401.
301, sorry, 1241 301.
Okay.
So the piping and the inlets should still be there to capture the runway. That still will be required. Is that accurate? I just want
Yeah.
to make sure.
Yeah, there will be no curbing along the road, but
Mhm.
the road will drain
Still have the drainage.
into the property. There'll be a swale along a low area along the front, which with inlets that will collect
Okay.
runoff and then get piped into their on-site drainage system.
And that's consistent with the remainder of Cedar Hill Road, right? Just want to make sure.
Cedar Hill Road is fairly inconsistent currently, but it's consistent with what the
Recent.
vision is for the improvements to Cedar Hill Road.
Okay. And this new plan has no requirement for open space.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's correct.
Any additional questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, thank you so much for your presentation, Ms. Rice.
Sure.
To do the resolution that's included in our board, 2026-10. Let me just see. Does that have all of the updated recommendations?
Yes.
It does. We're looking tonight for us to vote on it. Included in the board packet, has everyone had a chance to read the resolution? Any questions or concerns? None? Seeing none, are there any questions or concerns from the resident? I know I'm kind of asking again, but from the public? Seeing none regarding the presentation and the memorandum that was included, as well as the resolution, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-10 related to 1512 and 1524 Cedar Hill Road 4-lot subdivision and considerations. No, just the 4-lot subdivision. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Are you also doing the, okay,
am.
I'm sorry. Next up is a presentation on 1616 Schoolhouse Road subdivision plan. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Rice.
Thank you. So we are looking at what is a one lot development, and it was originally part of a 2-lot subdivision that you saw maybe last year or the year before. It was related to Schoolhouse Road. There was an existing dwelling on that 2-lot subdivision. That piece has been subdivided off and is no longer part of this application. We are here because we are developing the second lot, which was a vacant lot. And we are putting on a house here that is a little bit larger than the original plan accounted for. And we need to disturb a few more trees than we did in the plan that was approved by you. With that tree replacement plan and the conditions of the subdivision, there was a waiver requested to allow planting of 17 of the required replacement trees and then to provide a fee in lieu of. So we are proposing the same condition here, 17 proposed replacement trees, along with 3 trees that are intended to meet your on-lot tree requirement. And then we're asking for a waiver to provide a fee in lieu of for the remaining trees to be replaced. Now, we did have an arborist go out and reevaluate the 61 trees that are being proposed to be removed to develop this lot. And the arborist submitted a report to your township consultant that your township consultant agrees with the arborist findings, and it was a total of 162 caliper inches that require replacement. That equates to 54 replacement trees. And as I said, we are proposing to install 17 of those 54 trees and then ask for a fee in lieu of, a waiver to allow a fee in lieu of for the remaining. And that's the biggest issue on this plan. And that's why we're here before you, because of that additional tree disturbance. Otherwise, it would have been a simple building permit plan. We found that as we were putting the house on the lot, that the area that was accounted for on the plan was a little too small for this lot. Once we did the grading, put the house on there and did some stormwater management. So we ended up disturbing more trees than was anticipated on the approved plan. So
How many, I'm sorry, how many trees were going to be removed on the original approved plan?
So this plan says 61, and I'm sorry that I don't have that number in front of me, and I apologize for that, but it was less than 61 trees. But it was more about the caliper inches too, because of the sizing of those trees. Our arborist went out there to determine the health of those trees, and really they weren't in great shape anyway.
Yeah, Mike, the original resolution required 130 replacement trees.
And this is 169 replacement trees?
54.
154,
No,
just
54.
So how did we go from 130 to 54?
The arborist
Because of the
wasn't out the
Yeah,
first time.
so the arborist was never out to the site initially, and they showed a disturbance. They surveyed the trees, but there was no comment on the condition of the trees, and turns out that a lot of them are dead and or dying.
So the trees are sick. Who was the arborist?
So their arborist is John Hosbach, and I had our arborist Val Liggett visit the site and review John's findings.
The most recent findings are the ones from prior. Okay.
The
We didn't
most
have
recent
anybody-
findings, there was no study done
we didn't
initially.
have anybody. I remember talking about the trees.
I remember.
I
talking
remember
about the
this
trees.
being a concern, about like,
Yeah,
many-
and
Say
part
130?
of the issue with the original subdivision was that the person doing the subdivision wasn't going to be the person building the house. So they just sort of estimated a disturbance area, and we needed to capture something. Otherwise, if you let the subdivision happen without capturing any kind of replacement or tree fee or anything like that, once the lot exists, then they can come in with a building permit and not need to go through
Mhm.
the land development process. So it was an estimate of disturbance.
So but it still was a recorded estimate that they were required to address, correct? That's recorded? The 130 trees is recorded, correct? Like, that's what you've agreed to.
Is the fee in lieu being calculated
No, no,
based
no,
on
no,
the
no.
old number?
They were originally, let me see if I understand this. They were originally, before the arborist came out, 130 trees you were going to remove that we had approved.
So no, it was a certain amount of trees that equated to 139 replacement. So it was based on your caliber.
Right, on the
inches. Yeah.
3-inch, on the 3-inch caliper.
Right,
And I-
139
And I look, it
replacement.
looks like 169 3-inch trees from the March 13th review letter.
Yeah, that's from Jim's.
That's Jim's though.
Right, I understand, but I think the addition, there's 30 more 3-inch trees that are going to be removed. Whether they're dead or dying, I'm not going to get to that. Does that seem about right to you?
No.
The letter, Gilmore's letter says the new plans appear to be short 90 3-inch replacement trees.
And was
90?
this count across both
90.
lots
On
or
page.
no, we're peppering you with
page
questions?
two
I know,
of
I
the
know.
letter is March 13th.
I'm going based upon our original.
If you look at our March, if you look at our March review letter,
Look
Yeah.
look at our March review letter, that's what they were disturbing before the arborist
Short-
took into account. I
Was
do
that-
not know what
Oh.
was, I would have to pull a file to figure out what was disturbed on the previously. approved.
130 was disturbed previously. That's what Danielle's looking at the previous approval, and Jamie
Right, so,
confirmed.
yeah, so the resolution that approved the subdivision in 2024, there was a requirement that they were giving a fee in lieu for the 130 replacement trees.
Across both lots.
No,
Or-
just
oh.
across where, the replacement is only for where they're going to be disturbing the tree, removing trees. The lot one, there was no improvements proposed for that lot.
Okay.
Lot two is the lot that they are developing now. But they are not the applicant that came in before you originally. They have purchased lot two and now they're making this change to lot two. So they need to resolve this issue because now the trees have changed because they're disturbing a larger area. They have done this tree survey and now they've identified a new number of trees. They are offering to replace, I believe, 17 of the required trees. And so the replacement number of trees now is at 37.
Correct.
The 37 is because the 130 turned into 54. But that's what I'm addressing. The 130 that turned into 54, 130 is still recorded.
130 was part of that approval resolution, which is what they're
approval
here
resolution-
requesting a change to that.
To increase
Correct.
the 130.
No, to
decrease
decrease
it
the
to
130 down to
54.
54, and then of that 54, they're saying they're going to replace 17. My issue is that of the 130 you've already agreed to, you're asking us to confirm via your arborist and their arborist that some of them were dead and or dying, and that they shouldn't have to replace 130, despite the fact that 130 is what we already agreed to. Is that accurate?
In a roundabout way, yes, that is.
It is
accurate.
accurate. I would just like to
Yes.
affirm for the record, I was accurate.
Yeah. Well, have neighbor, like,
So what happens is we approved them to replace 130 trees. They're now saying after they did their due diligence, they went out and found all of those trees are not actually alive and or well.
And
They only want to replace 54. And then of that 54, they will actually plant 17. And so they're asking for a fee in lieu of only 30 some trees.
So of the delta,
And the only point of clarification is that the they is like a different.
different
is
they
a different
now.
person. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
they subdivided and sold it. And then you guys come in and you're like, well, now we can't put a house here, but we bought it and we thought we could put a house here, correct?
So the question
It was the
is, are
whole-
we willing to forgive the 130 trees that they've already identified they needed to replace and or do a fee in lieu for, and agree to the 54 that their arborist and our engineer has said actually are live trees?
well, I have a question. Are you saying that you don't have to disturb the 130 and you're only?
No, they
wanting-
do.
You still are saying you have to disturb 130,
But they're saying they're dead.
the
or
delta
sick.
of 130 to 54 is dead and sick trees? Is that-
So I think we're getting confused between number of trees being disturbed and caliper inches that equate to replacement trees. So if you look at the disturbance from the original plan, and I don't know the exact number of trees, but say there were, and I'm just pulling a number, 50 trees that were being disturbed before we added, oh, this is great. This is perfect. Thank you, Jamie. So we have the trees that are shown on here that were indicated to be dead and dying, which, if I'm correct, is the shaded ones with the circles. Those were, I need my glasses, sorry. There's three symbols up there. One that shows X's for trees that are being removed, one that shows X's with a circle around them and shaded, that shows, hold on. The proposed removal is the ones with the circles, okay? So you will see down in the bottom right-hand corner, the ones with the X's and the circles are the additional disturbed trees that weren't on the prior plan, the prior approved
The
plan.
ones that are shaded?
No, in the front, on the front right corner, if you're looking at the plan, those circled with the X's on them,
Yeah.
those are additional trees that weren't on the first plan.
Okay.
The ones that are shaded all indicate dead and dying trees, and they were noted on that original plan as well. And then the ones that are shaded with X's were the proposed removal from the prior plan.
So let me just ask this
Mhm.
question. Sorry.
Yeah.
The ones with everything that has an X in it, you're removing.
Correct.
Okay. Everything that has an X with a circle that's not shaded is what?
So
The ones in the front.
the ones in the
right.
front, yes.
What are those?
Those are additional. Those are the ones that are now disturbed with our current plan that weren't disturbed
That
before.
aren't dead or dying.
Correct.
The ones that are shaded with an X in it are dead and dying. And you're going to remove them.
Yes, except that I don't think I have the dead and dying from the current arborist on this. That's what I don't have on here.
The circle that doesn't have an X in it that's shaded, are those dead and dying trees that you're not removing?
No, they're coming out. They're coming out.
Why isn't there an
yes.
X in those?
A good question. Yes.
Okay, and the circles, so there are shaded circles, front left and center and back right. Those are all coming out,
Yes.
and those are dead and dying.
Yes.
Okay. So it looks like there's a lot of not dead or dying trees that are coming out. I don't want to talk about caliper inches for just a second.
Okay.
It changes the nature of the lot. I mean, there's a picture of the lot in this packet. It's a completely wooded lot. So we're getting rid of a lot of trees.
Mhm.
It doesn't look like they're all dead and dying.
However, with the latest arborist report, I do not have all of those trees shown on here as the dead and dying trees shown on here, mostly because I don't know which trees they are.
Okay, I
From the
think
report.
we need to see
Yeah,
that.
I-
So we
Okay.
can approve anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question that you were asking me is how many more additional trees are being disturbed for this project? So I would tell you that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 additional trees.
Where those are what?
The bottom right corner,
Those are the non-shaded circles.
Correct, with the
new
X.
trees that are added.
right, right.
You don't think that changes as a result of,
It could, but those are yes, it could be that some of those are the dead and dying trees, yes.
okay,
Well, we know.
yeah, I think we need certainty with this.
Yeah.
So I think this drawing needs to be updated to current.
It would be helpful to tabulate it as well to, like, I know you were talking in calibers, but like
Mhm.
number of trees,
And then
how that
have-
relates to calibers on the previous plan to this one.
This,
Yeah,
if I can just interrupt real quick, this plan shows the caliper inch of the tree that's being removed. So like 10-inch, 6-inch, it says it on there.
Feel like number that tree 24, we're saying that's 24 caliber inches.
That's
Correct.
what it, no, 24, that's a 12-inch. 24 is 12.
24 is over
Dumb it
here.
down for us, the supervisors, so
Yeah, it's
you
right
can
here
have the
too.
same apples to apples comparison.
Yeah,
It-
just with the
Yeah.
understanding
Yes,
that when
so
we,
then this is
like,
24.
when this was
That's
originally
number
put
three.
forward, there was concern
is
about
what
the
I'm
trees. I
questioning.
know
What
the
is-
neighbors were concerned about, very much changing the character, obviously, of their cul-de-sac. So
Mhm.
just so that we have an understanding of how much impact this is actually having in reality as opposed to caliber.
and what the scope of the ask is from the previous approved plan. So, just understanding, just high level, this is the number we asked for before. I understand different arborists. This is the number dead and dying. And just like a high level summary of the counts would be helpful.
Okay, so your arborist did document all of that, but I guess not in comparison to the original plan is what you're saying.
Exactly.
And just even to define, like, see here, I'm assuming that these trees are going to be removed because they're dead and dying,
Well,
but I'm not
yes.
certain.
Well, yes, they should be removed because they're dead and dying, yes.
Because they don't have the X in them, which means that the
Gotcha,
removal.
gotcha.
It just says dead and dying with a
Yes.
circle around.
House going, like it's over here where all these trees are.
Did we, Susan?
Yes.
Did
the house
you
is right
evaluate
dead center.
trees that were outside of the
So it
limit
looks like
of
those are-
No.
disturbance?
No, I don't.
Okay.
What if they're like part in, like this one in, that's half over the square? It looks like it's an 18
What does
inch. It
LP
says
mean?
tree dying.
What does
Oh,
AR mean?
sorry, we're at a different picture. Jamie, would you mind going back to the picture with the X's?
I think,
Yeah,
I
this-
think what those.
That's
are-
on a different property.
I think what those are, I'm sorry, I think what those are, the trees to the left, I think those are the 17-year replanting. Because when you go back to the picture, Jamie, of where the house is gonna be. Yeah, so are those the 17 trees that are going to be added?
No, they are
What
not.
are those circles?
These are the circles for the trees that are added.
Yeah, that's what I just.
That's what he just
These
said.
are,
That's
I
what
thought
it
you
is.
meant the prior
Yeah.
No, in
plan.
the
Well, that's
prior
what I was-
one.
yeah.
No, those
where
are
there's-
dead, those are dead and dying trees that were noted as dead or dying that were outside of our limit of disturbance. What I was trying to demonstrate with the X's on the plan is the trees that were shown as part of the LOD on the prior plan versus our plan.
Hmm.
So they were noted as dead and dying on the prior plan, but they weren't necessarily Xed out as being removed.
And so you're saying that they are going to be removed if they are shaded and there's a circle, but there's no X in them?
See, I think that I may be wrong, but when you look, if these are the trees that are gonna be added, right?
Right.
Jamie, go back to the
But I
one
think they're dead and dying, they'll be removed.
and then
they'll be
replaced. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah. I
yes.
think you're replacing in the same area where
Yes.
some are being
But it does
removed.
say that
So
based
the
on our key.
The
What's the-
X's that are shown on this plan are to relate the prior plan to this plan. So I have the X's shown that were shown on the 2024 plan. And then I added the X's to the trees that we're removing for the 2026 plan. I did not cross out the dead and dying that were outside the limit of disturbance and did not have X's. It's just to try and make it easier for everyone to understand it. It made it more confusing.
So when we add them up though, those ones that are circle and shaded without the X,
Mhm.
it equals 17. If you're trying to add back 17, that's why we were confused.
And I'm not
Oh,
sure
that's
where
okay.
the 17 was on the prior plan. So we continued that 17. So I was not aware of where that 17 came from, and maybe it was. I don't know.
So I guess we just want to know, what's the final picture gonna look like? Like, these are the trees now.
Mhm.
Which ones are being removed? Where are the new ones going? And we can just get a final, I think, is that
And-
what we're asking?
And progression from 2024 approval to to what you're asking us now, I think.
We're
The
asking,
progression from what we approved in 2024 to what you're asking us now.
okay.
I think that's just for my perspective.
That
I
would be
can't-
helpful.
I can't get
Yes.
that clarity.
Okay. Okay. I'm just in my head trying to figure out how to make that clear for you, but I will try.
I think comparison between the limited disturbance or limited clearing that was on the previously approved plan and then this new proposed limit of clearing with an area shaded of what's additional. And then obviously those trees that are in that shaded area are the ones that you need to remove to do your plan.
Okay.
Um,
And then I would like to, I guess, figure out.
and
further.
clarificate,
Like,
we can talk, but
yeah.
I'm now looking at this and thinking like those trees on the far left that are dead and dying they're being taken out and then you're using that area to like put replacement trees back, correct?
Correct. Yes.
I think from my perspective, we had concerns the first time we approved this, and it's getting,
Worse.
from our perspective, I wasn't going to say that, but yes, it's getting worse. So it's troubling to us because we were uncomfortable the first time around. And given the nature of the lot, a fee in lieu doesn't really replace the trees.
Mhm.
It just gives money to the township, and that's not. So I think that's our concern.
Okay,
I understand the folks who bought the lot want to build a house of a certain size. I get that. But I think
It's
you
gonna-
should be mindful that that is at least what some folks up here think.
I think it's going to drastically change the way that the lot or how it previously will look. And also there will be a lot of stormwater issues, which I think already are an issue, potentially. That's my thoughts. And
Can I
I'm not
ask
an
a question?
engineer. Yes.
Normally, when you're offering a fee in lieu, the position would be that you can't physically put the replacement trees on site. Is that your position?
so if you would read the arborist report, a big reason for the trees being dead, dying, and not thriving is because they are overcrowded.
You're
So-
removing it.
We are removing them, but to put back just as many or more would still, be a problem in the future for the trees to survive.
He
And-
says that in the report.
Yeah, it is in the report. I don't have the report with me, but
We have it.
there's a copy of it, yeah.
I can have,
I saw the
I can
letter.
have our arborist and RLA look at their landscaping plan to determine if there is a possibility to plant some more trees in that area, specifically the like left side of the lot.
Because you can't get a waiver and offer a fee in lieu if you can plant them on site.
Understood.
Yeah, I mean, is it that it's too crowded, or is it that they're ash trees? Because the ash trees have a specific problem.
Right, I thought,
I think
Yeah.
they were crowded and then they were stressed and then the trunks split, and when the trunks split
Mhm.
and they get bigger, then there's a lot of weight on that split trunk and it has a
Oh,
tendency to
Jamie,
fall. on
one second, right, go back up a little bit. It's overwhelmingly red maple, black locust, and pin oak, so not a lot of ash in
Okay.
there. Yeah.
I didn't see where he said it was
Yeah, we just
site
want to be
stress.
comfortable with the tree stuff because that's a big hot button topic.
So,
On
okay,
page 2, it says site stress, but I didn't see that it was the overcrowding. Is site stress equivalent to overcrowding?
We can have a look at that, right?
Yeah, I think the homework, I guess, would be make this chart, make this diagram something that's more easily understandable and comparable to, and something we can compare to 2024, and try to figure out if there's a way to put other trees on the lot.
okay.
Yeah,
You would want those trees to survive though,
Yes.
right?
Of
It's not,
Yeah,
right,
of
Yes.
course.
so, okay,
Right,
But the
not in a way
second-
where it wouldn't be healthy.
okay.
So the second paragraph actually says, and I was looking for it says, to document the extent of decline in mortality due to lack of maintenance over the past 4 years. So what they were indicating this from February 2021 to October of 25, it was lack of maintenance that caused the death and decay of those trees.
Which makes sense. It was just a wooded lot with nothing on it. It
Mhm.
makes sense nobody's maintaining. It's just natural.
Yeah.
Right, since 2021, no proactive care, pruning, or mitigation has been conducting, resulting in progressive decline.
Which is a little different than overcrowding.
I know, and I did read it somewhere, but I don't know where it was.
Okay. I just think those.
Well, the last paragraph, the data indicates a degradation rate exceeding 40% over the 4-year interval, correlating directly with a lack of care and possible site stress, soil compaction, drought, or construction disturbance.
Site stress does mean overcrowding.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it says possible, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think it sounds like. See.
I think we need that kind of clarification, and I don't know if there's any additional questions or clarifications needed from the board
Is that?
or solicitor. Anything from the public? Are you comfortable with our instructions as it relates to things that we need clarified before we would be able to move forward?
Yes,
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your presentation.
thank you. Oh, do we need to go over the other waivers before I leave, or do you want to do that another time? There's only two, and they were the same waivers that were,
Sidewalks and streetlights, right?
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
doubt
same
there's-
waivers that were approved with the prior.
I don't think that
I didn't have any
sidewalks running
concerns.
around Gypsy Hill is on our plan, so I think that's fine. And
Yeah.
I think the neighbors will be pissed with the streetlight.
I didn't have any additional concerns. Anybody else from the board? Nope. we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have consideration, have a discussion around the zoning hearing board applications that are included in the board packet. The zoning hearing board plans to meet or is scheduled to meet on May 14th of next month, which is next month. This would be an opportunity for the board to have a conversation about any of those pending zoning hearing board applications. Can't hear you guys. You're talking over each other.
Just pulling them up.
I'm joking. I think the first one is,
Oh, it's in these.
first one is 1111.
Is that where it is? I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in the execs.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. Yep.
So the first one, I think that we had consideration for a conversation around would
veterinary.
be 1509 latch string. This applicant had been before the board previously. And we had approved,
Oh,
Oh, right. I think for the same, this is the one where they want to turn it into a residence when they agreed not to before, right?
yes. And I think we gave them specific instructions as to we would approve it as long as it wasn't an additional resident.
Right, so this application came before the zoning hearing board, and they were requesting a special exception to permit a pool house that was 26 feet in height. And they challenged the zoning officer's interpretation that they also needed a special exception to permit a second housekeeping unit because of all of the things they were adding in this pool house. The zoning hearing board agreed that they did not need the special exception for the second housekeeping unit as long as they agreed to deed restrict the property from the use of the pool house as a second housekeeping unit, most namely adding a kitchen facilities within the building. They agreed to that, and they were to place a deed restriction on the property. But they, prior to recording the deed restriction, they decided that they do want to use the proposed pool house as an in-law suite. And so they filed a brand new application where they're abandoning the prior approval and they're coming in requesting the height variance, and now they've added a special exception for an in-law suite.
Okay, so we haven't talked about the in-law suite issue because they had already agreed not to pursue that.
Right, through a deed restriction
deed
that they would file against their property.
This, I think the conversation is if we want to push back or allow it to continue and go forward to the zoning hearing board.
They can go no matter what, it's just whether we
Yeah,
reject
I mean,
it.
like without us being silent.
We don't allow in-law suites, right?
do not.
It's my understanding.
We do
Permitting-
not.
Is permitting in-law suites?
You
Are
do
you
not
sure?
allow a
By
second
special
dwelling unit
exception.
in these single-family dwelling unit districts as a.
I guess my concern
Is
is
that so?
they're essentially trying to build a separate home on the lot.
Right.
And I'm also concerned that agreed to this and now don't want to agree to it. So I would object to the application and think we should object to the application.
I agree. I think my only question about permitted and not permitted is I know we're going to kind of overhaul zoning. Is that a change that we think? Or we'll just address that when we address it, but I didn't know if we get a lot of applications for second homes and.
I mean,
this is something we
I
need
think the
to-
concern really honestly that I see from my perspective is that we're all kind of living in multi-generational homes. We kind of see that and I say we loosely, our generations were raising our kids, and then there's also our parents that need our care. I think housing is actually moving towards the idea of maybe supporting individuals within your home and within the confines of an existing structure or maybe an additional structure so that they're within close proximity, but understanding there are not a lot of options related to outside care and support. So this is something personally, I understand what our ordinance says. I think this is something that we should look at and consider as we move forward because it's a movement that's actually happening and it's a way to support individuals remaining in the least restrictive place possible and being able to be amongst their loved ones in a community setting for as long as possible.
Even if that, I agree, it's something for us to consider at another time. But even if that were the case, there's no restriction that that would be the case for this application. Could be anybody living in a separate structure.
No, they're asking for an in-law suite.
What does that-
So,
what does that mean
there,
exactly?
the application says that the mother-in-law is going to live in there.
And what happens when the mother-in-law no longer lives there?
Well, they're supposed to place a deed restriction that they'll remove the facilities. That's the way the in-law suites are handled currently, but agreed,
way we do
agreed,
it.
that's what they didn't do the
The
first time
mother-in-law,
around.
she's gonna live upstairs, I guess.
The mother's gonna live, they're
In-
saying in the pool
In the
house.
separate structure.
Yeah, yep, correct.
I think this is a slippery slope.
I think life is a slippery slope.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we just don't
I mean, I
send
think
Neil to oppose it, but let
Yeah.
the zoning hearing board sort it out.
Actually, the legislature is considering an amendment to the MPC, which would permit ADUs in any residential zoning. district.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not today, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
so then,
probably coming.
It is coming, understanding that the need for the housing doesn't exist.
yeah,
and
I think
so-
my understanding of the posture in advance was a little bit different. I thought we had already exhausted this discussion, but it sounds like we really didn't because they had agreed otherwise, so. I'm in favor of not sending Neil. I don't think we need to go and cheer it on, but I don't think we need to actively oppose it and let the zoning hearing board make a decision. But that's my thought.
I agree, honestly, and I think that it was something that we need to consider
We
as
need to
we
talk
address
about
our
this.
ordinance
Yeah.
moving forward. I mean, understanding that the ordinance exists right now, I just don't think that we need to go oppose the use. That's my position. I don't know if others want to share their thoughts.
Lady to be home. Where should I go?
I think we have to.
What's the exact question in front of?
I mean, that's why I didn't build facilities.
So the
in my
address
whole
is
house.
1509 Gladstring. They are
Are we
wanting,
going to oppose?
are we going to send Neil? Yeah, that's.
No, I don't think we should. Unless you want to, are you suggesting maybe sending him in support?
No, I understand that our ordinance exists. I'm not saying I agree with it, but.
When was this before the board previously, when they agreed to
Front of
the
the zoning
deed?
hearing board, do you know, it was in front of the zoning hearing board explicitly, but do you know what date? What year, I mean?
It was just a couple months ago. It was either December or January.
And they had agreed to the deed restriction at that point in time?
Yeah, that was a condition of their approval by the zoning hearing board.
You want to share your thoughts, Andrea, or not really? You don't have to at this moment.
I mean, I don't, I just have questions. I mean, I guess what, Neil, is required for a special exception for the
Generally speaking, a special exception is a permitted use unless there's an objection that demonstrates there's an adverse effect on the public health, safety, and law.
Okay, so this is currently a permitted use
By special
As a
exception.
by a
exception.
special exception. Okay.
So they're able to ask for that relief from the zoning hearing board.
Mhm.
Yeah, then I would be in favor of not objecting to this application since they're permitted to ask.
Okay. All right, so then we have before us, I think we go back on 1 to 1217 Bethlehem Pike. You wanna speak to that, Mr. Trishi?
1217 North Bethlehem Pike?
Yeah. Is that the one you wanted to?
Yeah, I think it's worthy of discussion, given what we just approved tonight. Or, what is that, Gwinnett Point? Is that what it's called? I'm assuming that, well, I shouldn't assume that. I wonder if, did these applications, were these zoning hearing board applications published so that the residents up there know about it?
They had to get. notice.
The new ones?
This spring?
Yeah, the public
Hall Market group.
the public notification, the notice goes in will be run in the paper Thursday. It just went up on our website today.
Okay, so it's,
They be receiving notices in the mail.
They'll go out, they're probably in the mail now. And then the parcel will get, posted. They did, the applicant, looks like there's stakes with they did some survey out there, because we did get a couple calls from residents in the area. And then the other thing was they reached out to the HOA for Trewellen Estates, to, see if they wanted to meet to discuss access off a tin turn like they had years ago. But they weren't interested in discussing that.
right, so we're gonna add, I mean, this is quite fresh in my mind, given what we've gone through in the last couple of months.
Mhm.
We're going to add another 3, do we know 3 homes on 1.33 acres that normally would require 20 acres? And is there going to be like a cul-de-sac where there's one egress and ingress, or are there going to be 3 separate driveways being able to come in on Bethlehem Pike? Do we even know that yet?
It's just one driveway, right, Jim? Yeah.
One driveway, so
Mhm.
like kind of a cul-de-sac type thing?
It's like, it's just one.
Oh, carriage houses, right. I got you.
They do have when this came through, it came through land development. It was approved in 2020.
Yeah,
And they did get an HOP from PennDOT for the access onto Bethlehem Pike. And they kept that. That is the only thing that hasn't expired.
that would PennDOT look at that again, given Gwinnett Point, or no? Okay.
Right now, it's just an empty lot on the way to 309.
Yeah, it's just wooded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lose some more woods. Okay, I just thought it was worthy of discussion.
Yeah. Do we know why they let, well, they're agreeing to the old conditions. They're not coming back and saying, we want new conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just a different app. Like they've bought it from the Sparangos. So it's just a different applicant. And now that they're pursuing this, everything has lapsed that they had
Had to ask
already
for
gotten
permission, yeah.
approval previously for.
The next is the lamplighter court. And this is for a special exception to permit the installation of a sports court, tennis court. 2 issues, the impervious coverage is in excess of the 25% maximum by 3.34%. And the court would be located 15 feet from the rear property line where we currently have a 25-foot required setback. The ordinance that was adopted by us in January of 2026 requires that 25-foot setback, which is a new ordinance, and I don't know if others feel that it might be prudent for us to consider ensuring that the zoning hearing board is aware and that our solicitor goes make sure that they're aware, or is it just, do we believe that the zoning hearing board would be adequate in understanding that the updated zoning ordinance and the impervious surface, which is clear, which is just a minor bit above what is their required amount?
I think since it's new, it might make sense to go.
That's my only thought. Only been 4 months. At this point, it'll be 5, but they might not have seen any applicants since it's passed in January.
And I'm concerned about the impervious issue.
Anybody else have any thoughts?
I agree. I think we should send Mr. Stein.
Okay. Anybody else?
I agree as well. Given the fact these have been recently passed, I think it's important. They're new and they're, implemented for a reason. So I think it's important to send the solicitor as well.
You good, Jimmy? Okay. We need to make a vote. I would like to make a motion to, and our solicitor to defend our zoning ordinance as it relates to an application on Lamplighter Court. Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion does carry. Thank you, guys. And that, I believe, unless anyone has another application, closes our zoning board applications for the May 14th hearing.
Did we move public comment?
Not yet. We're about to.
No, did we move it? And it
Yes,
used to be.
Next up is public comment. This is
Have
for
you read them?
citizens' comments, concerns, or questions for items that are not on the agenda.
Yeah, that's.
Seeing none, we will move on to our finance report for March 2026. Included in the board packet is our finance report. Are there any questions to our finance director? None? Seeing none, I wanted to thank our finance director for another stellar report. Included in our board packet is an invoice report for April 28th, 2026. Is there any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve the invoice report for April 28th, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Motion carries. Included in our board packet were the minutes from our meeting on April 14th, 2026. Has everyone gotten a chance to review? Any questions, concerns, or corrections? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is supervisor liaison reports included in our board packet. Please review them at your earliest convenience. Staff updates? No staff updates.
Old Bethlehem Pike is open again.
That is a big update. Congratulations.
Word on behalf of the engineer and the public works director.
That's big news. Thank you. Supervisor comments. We'll start with Jimmy. We're gonna go a different way.
Keep everyone on their toes.
I was just gonna try to find the date. There.
You gotta get the microphone near you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just trying to find the date. There's the Wissahickon High School Asian American Committee, whatever. They're having their Asian American event one of these Saturdays.
Oh.
But I was trying to find that
really
date.
quick. Hold on.
Um,
We're gonna try to find that really quick for you, Jimmy. Go ahead.
oh, the Wissahickons Asian Cultural Fair take place on May 16th.
Here we go.
At the Wissahickon High School from 1 to 4 p.m. I just wanted to make that announcement, and if you guys anyone hears this, stop by, they should.
Thank you, Jimmy. Brisky?
No comments.
Andrea?
No comment.
Need. I have no comments either. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. 7 minutes over.